The other thing that's come out just the other day was the first proper trailer for Deadpool 3. I know we had the teaser for it, and then we got the legit trailer. And I have to admit, it actually looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I watched this trailer and I was quite pleased with what I was seeing. It really toned down the TVA stuff. It's the time variance authority, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Well, I mean,
things from Loki. So
he's killing them in the trailer, so that makes everyone happy, I think.
Thank God.
yeah, and it didn't focus too much on that, but it obviously is a multiverse story. This is like an alternate Wolverine where he's got the authentic costume and stuff. But it actually looks pretty fun. The interplay between Wolverine and Deadpool looks pretty good. The action looks decent. I was liking it, I must admit. I can't show you the trailer with audio because there's loads of licensed songs and stuff in it, so it's just designed to kill you for copyright. But I'll kind of jump around a little bit in it as we go. I can just like show you bits or whatever. But yeah, I don't know what you guys' thoughts were on it.
The use of Madonna's Like a Prayer was pitch perfect. For melodrama and comedy, I thought it was brilliant. The interplay between these two looks fantastic. I'm really going to enjoy watching this film just to see these two guys play off each other. It's going to be great.
Should be some heart in this film, and I think it's going to stand in great contrast to everything that we've been getting lately for superhero entries. The fact that you've got Hugh Jackman bringing back once again Wolverine, who he's so familiar with at this point that I can't imagine they would do anything drastic or disrespectful or horrifying to him. I feel like especially combined with Ryan Reynolds, who's got a particular investment in all of this, and he's not so unplugged. I think he's got some awareness of how everyone's feeling and probably knows what to make fun of, at least to some extent. There's so many opportunities for jokes here, so much opportunity for making fun of the state of everything. I'm really hoping we get some jokes about, box office numbers. It would be funny. But I guess, it comes down to what do we truly expect this to be? At best, I'd probably end up saying, man, I really liked their performances. I found it funny at times, but it was still nonsense. That's probably
it sounds like the movie we just talked about. It's how I left off on that one too.
I'm trying to avoid hating on it too much, but I'm just saying, keep your hopes in a reasonable place.
I'm excited for it, but it looks exactly like you would expect it to be after you walked into Deadpool 2 and they said they were going to make a Deadpool 3. It looks how it's supposed to, and I know that's a low bar, but the bar is that low, and I'm happy that it does, because it could have been way worse.
I don't know if it's weird for a Deadpool movie, but the parts of the trailer that I liked is when they were being more serious. The interplay between them is decent, but it was when they started talking about the story and the motivation between them, and they actually cut the jokes, is when I liked it the most. And then you've got this weird bit at the end where they're just talking about different names for Coke and stuff. That does not interest me at all. I didn't find it funny. They ended on that as if
it's
that was
just to let you know
bits.
that it's not a MCU PG-13 movie. I feel like they were just really trying to drive that point home. I think they said fuck in this trailer.
They did a lot. I think the Deadpool movies had a tendency to fall into that trap of pushing an unfunny joke a little bit too far, and this trailer is probably a good example of it.
That's Ryan Reynolds in general.
Yeah, it's this is the tough thing, because it's I really like him, but at the same time, a bit too much of him can really start to piss you off. Sometimes you're just dial it down a notch, Ryan. Just take it back a little bit. You don't have to try so hard to be funny in every single scene. But yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Disparu. I think the moments where, and I think Hugh Jackman is playing it straight, as far as I can tell throughout the whole trailer. Those were the bits where I was most interested in, because I was like, what's this version of Wolverine going to be like? What's he been through? And I must admit, it's nice to just see him back. We all said goodbye to him with Logan, and that was 6-7 years ago at this point. So it's been a long time. And he very much harkens back to that different era of superhero movies when things were kind of new and exciting, and wow, we're doing X-Men and we're starting to do Marvel movies, and it's all very cool and interesting. And we've lost a lot of that for obvious reasons. And this is just a little reminder of a different time when this stuff was actually quite cool. and it's kind of nice to see him back doing it again.
Yeah, I wonder if this will do the nostalgia right.
That is why he's here, for that exact purpose, to make us go, man, I like him. So it's working.
Yeah. If you grew up with the his original character, then there might even be a little bit of nostalgia there. I like that he's getting this third act. So he had the original wave, and then the Logan second act, which was really cool and grittier. And this is like a nice little third act kind of send off. You're right. Ryan Reynolds can overdo it a bit if he's carrying the whole film on his shoulders. But here you're going to have this nice balance and playoff. And I think you're right, Mauler. I think this has a really good chance of capturing the real mood of the zeitgeist, a kind of washed out, ultra cynical, the world's gone to shit kind of vibe. So I think this film could do really well, and I hope that it does. And I think it could be a blast to watch. I'm looking forward to it.
The question that a lot of people seem to be asking, and I don't know why it's come up like this, but it's like Deadpool 3 is going to save the MCU. And GQ literally put out an article with that premise.
No. Just no.
And I certainly wouldn't go to fucking GQ for like great takes on media. And I also think it's funny that it's Gentleman's Quarterly and it's the entire writing staff is women, but like that's by the by. Let's ignore that for now. But what they have to say is it's no secret that times have been tough for the MCU. No kidding. Between a bunch of commercial and critical disappointments, the Marvels, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and Eternals, Marvel no longer boasts the premise of top-tier blockbusters. Couple that with a taste of superheroes growing increasingly stale, and it's clear that the franchise needs something. Fortunately, they've got, and it's like, I love how they cite this, Argyle director Matthew Vaughn thinks that Deadpool 3 could be the jolt that the franchise needs, because, Argyle is top-tier entertainment. He said that the few snippets that I know of Deadpool versus Wolverine are unbelievable. He says that's going to be the jolt that the Marvel Universe is about to have a jolt of them, and it's going to bring that body back to life. I think Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are about to save the whole Marvel Universe.
That's absurd. Because what are you going to do? Sign a 55-year-old like Hugh Jackman to a 10-year contract, and like it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's a one and done. It's going to please the fans, and then you're still stuck with the current state of the MCU.
Yeah, arguably this is like a eulogy. I don't think it's in any way, shape, or form a reinvigoration.
I think this is going to be for Marvel what the third season of Picard was for Star Trek. It was a cool little reflection of a previous era, a lot of nostalgia there, something that a lot of people enjoyed. It came and it went, and now it's gone, and then it's back to business as usual. And it didn't really alter the state of play for the larger franchise.
We already know it regards the Fox side of things more than anything. Like, it's not about the MCU as much as there may be references. It's like, this is going to be talking about and referencing the Fox continuity. Like, so the idea,
it seems to be. I think it's going to be a mix of the two.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be more focused on Fox, considering Wolverine's history and then the 20th Century Fox like set they've got in the trailer. Then you've got characters like Azazel, Lady Death, Strike. I think the Pyro. All these are all Fox stuff. I guess obviously it's still owned by Disney. It's just that this movie is not going to make people be like, oh man, I can't wait to see all of this in the next installment of the MCU. Like, it's such a bizarre. This could make $2 billion and it wouldn't make a difference.
Yes. It could be the best Marvel movie, and Marvel's gone too far for that to happen. Because at first, you had the benefit of the doubt. People would go and see your movie to see if it was good. You could come out with a new hero because people would give it a try because it was Marvel. And now you're on the other way. So now you've got to build back all of that before you're even at neutral, and then you've got to start building the benefit of the doubt. So they really need a string of films which everybody likes just to get people back on board. Because you'll have the people that go and see everything, but then it's got to filter through everybody else. And a lot of people
killed all of those people. It was a really difficult task, but they achieved it. From 2019, further, they worked really hard.
They worked really hard.
Yeah, they've gotten it. They did it. Obviously, it was their goal, because how else can you explain how fucking awful everything has been for the MCU? They masterfully nailed it, killed their whole audience. So now, if you want it back, you have to do essentially the reverse, which is make a series of great films. Which
this could have this could have the opposite effect of instead of rejuvenating the MCU, it could be like a nice little upward little blip where everyone remembers what they liked about it, and then the subsequent films after this will, by comparison, people go, oh, that's right, now I remember why I hate the MCU so much, because of the scrap quips and everything.
It's kind of what I mean by like a going to the funeral and then someone talks about the good times on a podium, and we all sort of smile, a couple of laughs, and you're like, still a funeral though. Like,
I guess the question is like, if you have a film like this, which is probably going to be quite open about the problems that the MCU has, and it's probably going to take the piss out of them, and it's commissioned by Marvel, so they're obviously aware of their own the criticism that swirls around them. Is that like the first step towards them fixing the problems that they've created for themselves, or is it just going to be, well, this is a piece of media from a very different creative team, and it's just a different take, but like we're just going to get back to doing what we do worst?
I'm hoping for them to sort of lampoon the current situation in the MCU. I'm not sure that we'll get that exactly. And even if we did get a lot of it, I wouldn't see it at all as anything other than a sidestep for a second, thanks to a creative team that isn't connected to the majority of the shit we're getting.
Is this character that I'm looking at here, is this like a female alternate version of Professor Xavier, or am I just like totally
Isn't nuts? This the Magneto character? I think in this she
I'm not sure.
She controls Wolverine.
She is apparently based on a character in the comics that was Professor X's stillborn twin sister or something like that.
Okay.
But she seems to have Magneto's powers.
Well, she has telekinesis, I thought, in general. I don't know if it might be.
Not just metal.
I'm not sure, actually. You could be right. Cassandra Nova is apparently her name.
It screams that they couldn't afford Tilda Swinton.
Yeah,
there you go.
Oh yeah, there she goes, like controlling him. But I don't know if that's like controlling his mind and forcing him to do this stuff, or like manipulating the adamantium in his body to like do this.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it is weird if that's meant to be Xavier's relative, and you're like, yeah, she's bald too. It's like, wait, what? That's not how
that works. Male pattern baldness in a woman.
Yeah. It's like, well, she's a sister. Hang on.
Well, I guess that's better than what happened in Apocalypse, where it's like you become Apocalypse, you lose your hair or whatever the fuck. Did you guys, anyone see that movie?
Oh God, yeah.
It's funny.
Make it stop. I actually just wanted to pause it on that scene because I just think it looks really cool. I don't know why. I'm simple that way.
This is kind of suitable in a sense because I think today is the 5-year anniversary of Endgame releasing.
Really?
5 years ago. It
feels longer, I think.
It does.
That year, yeah, that was the year that gave us Endgame and Rise of Skywalker,
and Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that was an eventful year when I think about it.
It's crazy. It was horrible.
I was about to say it was the best of times. It was
flashback.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times, but I don't know if I can say best. Like
it's weird though, because
big
things contract and expand in your mind. Like Endgame feels like a long time ago, but space horses on the back of a Star Destroyer feels like just last week. So it kind of conflates in mind a little bit.
I think it's because once Rise of Skywalker came out and we all had a laugh at it, it just kind of vanished. Like, it's particularly because there was no other movies made after it. There wasn't a whole lot of reasons to keep going back and referencing it. And so it just kind of vanished from the consciousness.
Nobody propped it up either. Nobody was interested in being like, nah, Rise of Skywalker was actually good for these reasons. Like, no.
Yeah, strange one. But yeah, I think in terms of like its box office prospects, it's probably going to be one of the only big success stories of the summer movie season. There's not a whole lot to get excited about. And yeah, like I think that movie probably will do well, even though the larger superhero genre is kind of dying a death. This is something that seems like it'll have almost like a little bubble of its own, just because there's a lot of fans of the Deadpool series and the nostalgia factor for Wolverine. It's probably all going to come together quite nicely for them, but I don't think it's going to save anything. It's not going to change the wider, genre. It's not going to change course for it. It's just going to be a thing that people enjoy and then move on.
And even if it did, it's only going to be a small tick and then back to falling further and further.